So I was briefly talking about Australian Global Summit 2025, and I also saw the Austrian Global Summit 2024, and then there is well, first if I may introduce just briefly, I have a master's and a PhD from Netherlands on economics of sustainable development. And sustainable development, whenever you use the word sustainable development, of course, it means finding most efficient paths, which would create, these frameworks of sustainable development, which would mean that, while we are progressing economically, while businesses are really doing well, while wealth is being created, we are doing it in a manner to preserve, the natural ecosystem of planet Earth, well as doing something which would help maintain the environment. So it is kind of a is kind of an approach, academic approach, which brings you a good perspective. And with that the knowledge base, I think this is one of the most significant event I have come across as far as the issue of climate change is concerned. I mean, look at the ideas which has been shared. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger would initiate with that, how private enterprises, these multinationals, these multi-billion organization, technology firms, which are the future of the business, not only take care of labor productivity and thereby avoid labor exploitation, but also they are really doing well as far as their contribution towards pollution is concerned. There's zero emissions. They have kind of apologies. They have kind of uh, their uh, the, uh, the plants which provide the energy for all that digital economy um, have utilized technologies which ensure zero emissions. I mean, that's great. And then something really great. It's all about action. That's what I'm saying as well. I mean, of course, being adherent to Arnold Schwarzenegger, his intellectual standing in the world, as well as his contribution to spread healthy behavior among the youth and anybody now. It's like I'm a middle-aged man, so he has he has a great role to not change the behaviors of the global population. And so maybe it's like because of my association with that kind of association with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where I'm saying the same thing. What I'm saying is, Pakistan, you have achieved something. What does it mean? When I go outside, I see a lot of businesses, small businesses. I mean, somebody has a small tuck shop, somebody has a small grocery store. Somebody would be providing a certain service, and even cobbler. They are all sitting there creating economic value. I mean, they are not saying, there's so much inflation and I mean this and that. I mean, representing these two concerns of these protests happening in LA, that in a land of opportunities you need to protest. Quite strange. Be like resilient like Pakistanis with such a unhospitable environment, economic environment with so much uncertainty. I mean, thank God there is macroeconomic certainty, but it was few years of quite an economic uncertainty with so high inflation, risk of the default and recession. But still, these old men and even women would spend all their day sitting in their shops and running their businesses, irrespective of the sales they would make, waiting for consumers or clients. I mean, can you beat that? I mean, that's exactly the kind of action which is required to then face pollution, find solutions for pollution. And then of course there would be somebody who I really fascinated about, and it is Prime Minister Tony Blair. I mean, all this, this fascination about leaders, of course, it started with the media, reading Pakistani media, English media and Urdu media and print media and electronic media. But really this fascination started from my PhD and Tony Blair. Tony Blair would be, I mean, he was quite a popular Prime Minister of UK. And he would, most probably, if I remember correctly, he would have 3 terms. And he's such an eloquent speaker. that was the first global leader that I noticed while I was doing a PhD with a certain decent knowledge base, and I could understand. I was just wondered that, the political leaders now represent something very different, something which represents intelligence, which represents, a governance strategy as defined by Tony Blair, which does not promote activism, but which promotes working through the people, working on the solutions. I mean, that's what generally is the strategy which is promoted by capitalism. This, creative destruction kind of by promoted by Asimoglu, Darren Asimoglu of MIT. That what creative innovation happens through this zeal to then find solution within. There are so many uncertainties, there are so many unknowns, which would give you an answer that there must be so many solutions as well. Imagine there are 1 million uncertainties in